What's good, YouTube? It's a Christ of Wrath and Prophecy. Let me turn on the light. Um, Obviously, the Giants have finished their draft. They only had six. They only had two picks in the sixth round. They didn't necessarily go. Um, they didn't necessarily go the route that I thought they was gonna go. I didn't expect them to pick no offensive lineman. I didn't pick. I mean, I didn't expect them to pick. I mean, I expected them to pick an offensive lineman. Knowing that they didn't have that much picks, they didn't even have a seventh round. They had a first, second, third, fourth, fifth. They traded that fifth to the Broncos, and then they had two more picks in the sixth round. So they picked. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and grade the draft because I haven't really seen all the picks yet. But when I do, I'm gonna give my final prediction tomorrow. And I'm just gonna do the NFC East. I'm not gonna do any other division. I'm just gonna do the NFC East. And I'm gonna grade each pick. I know the Washington team in Dallas had a ton of picks. Like they had crazy mad picks. The Eagles, they had their fair of picks too. To get Parker was a steal, even though the Giants was pussy to even not draft him. Um, who else? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I feel like giving the Giants an F. Like, they didn't even pick an offensive lineman. And you know that Daniel Jones was sacked, what, 23, 22 times last year? So they feel like Dave Gettleman feels like their offensive lineman is great. Now, obviously, you still have the supplemental draft. Is basically where players were not obviously signed or not picked, I should say. I said signed, not picked. So I believe that, they could probably, grab an offensive lineman there because free agency is not until mid-October, you know? So you won't get free agency for another 6 months. Let me see. May, June, July, August, September, October. Yeah, for another 6 months, you won't hit free agency for another 6 months. The deadline of free agency won't start for another 6 months. So maybe in a supplemental draft, they'll grab a few offensive linemen. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? But it's crazy how they just went flat out defense. They picked up two linebackers. They didn't even pick an edge rusher. Again, they did not pick an edge rusher. We thought Quiddy Pay was gonna go off the board, and the story with man, that kid has been through. His mom and himself has been through so much. That's an incredible story. But yeah, and I'm gonna do the Jets too. I'm gonna do the Jets because we crosstown rivals or we just rivals. So I'm gonna do the Jets as well. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't face them this year, but we'll probably face them in preseason. It determines how many games we play. Because usually preseason is four, but due to COVID, I don't think. I think we might play all four. I don't know. We might the NFL might just reduce it to two. You know what I'm saying? And then we could start the season. We could kick the season off, September. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna do the Jets. I'm gonna do the Giants. I'm gonna do the Eagles. I'm gonna do Washington team. And yeah. And then obviously now the Giants picked another cornerback at a University of State of Oklahoma. So they trying to get beefed up on the secondary. So yeah. But like I said, man, no pass rush, no offensive line. I already know what I'm gonna give the Giants. I'm not gonna spoil it. I already know what I'm gonna give the Giants. The Giants did not do good in the draft, and that's what you have to do in the draft. It's not to get better; it's to upgrade. And the Giants did not upgrade. The Giants again has failed to protect Daniel Jones. So now Daniel Jones is going to be running for his life all over again. Because I tell people this all the time. You have to invest in the offensive line. The offensive line is the key to everything. If you can't pass protect, if you can't block, what does that send a signal? Teams are just going to say, okay, we facing the Giants. The Giants have the worst offensive linemen in the NFL. You know, they can't block, they can't do this, they can't do that. You know, like I seen it when Eli. Yeah, I seen it with Eli a couple of years ago. Like he was the most sacked quarterback behind Andrew Luck and Phillip Rivers. So you see what happens when you don't have protection. You've seen it in the Super Bowl when they don't have protection. Everything breaks down. Everything isn't quite the same anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to play the if scenarios, but if the Giants invested in their offensive linemen for years, they would have probably had the best offensive linemen in that division. You know, that'll give Daniel Jones to sit back in the pocket, call his mom, go to Walmart, come back, and then still have time to throw. Because when you have time to throw, it opens up your offense. But as soon as you snap the ball and you're already sacked. You're already sacked. You're gonna lose a lot of games like that. So again, maybe I don't know. Maybe they'll pick a couple of offensive linemen in the draft, or maybe they feel like they don't need an offensive lineman. You know, maybe they just need, time. I guess they just need time for them to gel. Because they took steps in the right direction last year. You know, yeah, they struggled a bit, but it didn't. They picked it up in the middle rounds. You know what I'm saying? Like not in the middle rounds, but they picked it up as the season went by. You know what I'm saying? Daniel Jones had time to throw. You know, like that game against the Cardinals where Jones was sacked 7 times. You know what I'm saying? Or when the first game that they played against the Steelers, the Steelers, they shut the running game down, but it didn't affect Daniel Jones' ability to throw. You know, or that Tampa Bay game, where everybody thought that the Giants should have won, but they lost. You know, but again, he still kept it. The Giants still kept it close, but they won, but they lost actually. So I mean, I don't know. I don't know if the Giants feel like if the Giants feel like their offensive lineman is great, if they feel like their offensive lineman is great, then when Daniel Jones gets sacked left and right, don't blame me, okay? Because I know without an offensive line, you can't do dilly squat. I don't care who you got in the backfield. Like you draft the wide receiver, okay. Wide receivers in the first round. This is why I don't pick wide receivers in the first round. You know, uh, we drafted Hakeem Nicks in 2009. How did that pan out? Not so good. We started 5-0, finished at 8-8. Fast forward, 2014, we drafted Odell Beckham Jr. We had a losing record with him. You know, he didn't necessarily make the team better, but I believe he made himself better. You know what I'm saying? For the worse. You know, and then we finished 7-9. So when the Giants do go off wide receiver, now obviously Tony is a great talent, but is that going to equal to wins? People will have to sit back and dissect that. Like, as great as Tony is he gonna, you know, is it gonna manifest into wins? You know, and then they drafted linebacker second round out of Georgia. I don't like Georgia players. I really don't. We already picked Andrews, who wasn't really good last year. Hopefully, he could take that next step, but it's just something about Georgia players I do not like. They have poor development skills. Like, they don't produce in the National Football League like you see other teams, like you see other colleges do. You know, like you look at Alabama, you look at LSU, you look at Ohio State, you look at these big time schools. I mean, Georgia is one of them too, but I just, I mean, I think the Giants should have went Quiddy Pay first, and then they would have gone linebacker. Then I would have probably say, okay, yeah, the Giants. I would have probably gave the Giants a B plus. You know, if they gone edge rusher, linebacker, and then, you know, but they didn't. Do not know how exactly the Giants season is gonna end, but you know, it is what it is. I've seen this team too many times do messed up crap. I've seen this team too many times fail miserably. And they just not ready. They just not ready. Now, that doesn't mean that they can't turn it around. It's just not going to be this year. It's not going to be this year. And, you know, that might piss a lot of Giants fans off, but I don't give a crap. Because I know my team better than anybody. But like, comment, subscribe. Till next time, take care of yourself and each other.